Hi, everyone. My name is Gigi deFiebre, and we're just going to give a brief overview about the TMA, and I'm joined here with Jeremy Bennett. He'll be taking over some of the presentation. Sorry about the setup. I'm definitely probably the shortest presenter of the day, so we needed a new mic setup. So as you all know, the TMA, we're an organization and we support children, adolescents, and adults with a spectrum of rare neuroimmune disorders, all of which you heard about earlier today. And the characteristics of these disorders are that they are caused by an inflammatory attack in the spinal cord, brain, or optic nerve that damages motor or sensory nerves. And so a little bit about the organization. We were founded in 1994, and we'll be talking a little bit more about our upcoming 25-year anniversary campaign because we're celebrating our 25th birthday this year. We are a team of 10 people. You have met some of us on your way in today. And we support over 13,000 members across the world from 111 countries. And our membership includes people diagnosed with these conditions, parents or caregivers or family members of people with these conditions, as well as medical professionals. And so this is our team. You may recognize some of these faces, as I said, from when you came in. So I've got Jeremy here. Debbie's also at the front. I'm Gigi, obviously. Chrissy's there as well. We've got Chitra over there. I'm going to call out people who are here. Jim, who isn't here, but he's been with the TMA from the beginning. Linda as well. Roberta, who you'll be learning a little bit more about the socks that we have in store for all of you. Sandy and Rebecca, who also isn't here today, but yeah. So again, our mission is to advocate, support, and educate for individuals and their families diagnosed with these conditions that we learned about earlier today. And our goal is also to accelerate and invest in research, therapy development, and the training of clinician scientists who are dedicated to these disorders. And our goal is to improve the quality of life of individuals with these disorders. And we want to, find a cure eventually. So how do we do this? I'm going to turn it over to Jeremy first for this advocate section.
Hi. First of all, I've never done this, so I'm going to take a picture of all of you. This is cool. So I'd be like, everybody wave or something. I'll be like, hey, how's it going? All right, cool. Put that in my resume somewhere.
There you go.
Yes, we advocate, and we do that through, I'm not going to read the slide.
Okay, yeah.
So there are a couple of things that we do that kind of are easy to discuss and part of sort of what I do for my job. And that is the walk, run, and roll and other awareness events. And so we have a couple of people here who have organized those. So the Holtz are here. If you just raise your hands, it'd be great. And then Nancy and Barbara Ray are here, right? Somewhere. Where are you all at? Back there? All right. Am I missing anybody? I'm trying to look out here. All right. So that happens through awesome volunteers like them. And these events are like really time consuming, and they can be, it's a lot of stress. And so first of all, thank you for what you do. They just this year alone, their two events, I think have raised $40,000 towards what we do. So yeah, they deserve that. It means so much to us. And so while those are, the fundraising part of it is super important. There are other aspects of it that are equally important, and that is bringing people together, right? You're all in this room together here today for this event. Many people never met anybody with one of these disorders until they come to one of these events. So it not only is the money great, but it's the other part of it that is equally as important, and we never want to lose sight of that part of it, and the education and the awareness, because not only are people that come to these events diagnosed, we're also getting people coming who have never heard of our organization before. Elisa and Mitch had an Olympic gold medalist come to their walk who had no idea what these disorders were. And she came and spoke, and I think she was moved by that and has said, what can I do to help? So in a lot of these ways, we're bringing each other together, but we're also bringing people from our community so that we can raise awareness of these and we can amplify the message that we need help. We need help with education, funding, all that stuff, and awareness, so that we can eradicate this stuff. So, what else? We were also we also are a partner with. We're a member of NORD, which is the National Organization of Rare Disorders. They just had a summit in DC, and so we went and had a little booth there and went to some of the talks, and they are nice. So if we're the umbrella for all of these disorders, NORD is the umbrella for like every rare disease, and they're a really great advocate for all of us. They can do a lot more on a larger scale than we can, so it's nice. It's nice to use their resources, and they're really wonderful. So if you're interested in so I've heard Ben say you have the power to reach out to your legislators, senators, congressmen, or whatever, and make a difference. If you want to do something like that, please come see me. We have toolkits that we've gotten from NORD that you can use to fill in the blank, basically, to go towards, go to your politicians and help them understand and make a difference. So see me if you want to do that. And if you want to host a walk, please come see me too.
Yes. And Jeremy also works a lot with volunteers, which we'll be talking about a little bit more with support group staff. So again, we advocate and we also support. So being diagnosed with these conditions can be really frightening. A lot of the time it just kind of comes out of nowhere. I woke up one day with neck pain, and then by the end of the day was paralyzed from the chest down. And so it's, we understand that this can be a really challenging experience. And so, we're here to help, and we do this through a different mechanism. So we support those who have been newly diagnosed, as well as people who find us years after their diagnosis and who have been dealing with symptoms or other effects of the disorders. And so we answer questions, and we just, we're here to let people know that they're not alone. So to turn it back to Jeremy, we do have a support group network, which you can talk a little bit about.
Yeah. And we have some support group leaders here. Nancy, who hosted the walk, she's a support group leader in the Illinois area. Janelle and Jay are here. Where are they? Are they? Where? There. Okay, so San Diego, brand new support group. They came to our LA support group and all the way from San Diego, drove 3 hours, and started a new group. So we're going to hold a meeting soon, and that's awesome. And Julie's here, who just had her first meeting in the Baltimore area. So am I missing? Who else is here? Anybody else here? Is that it? Sorry, there's too many people. I can't. I think that's it. All right. So so we do support group leader training, so we can get information to these people who are doing this volunteer work, which is also, thank you very much for what you do. This is really important. A lot of people reach out to me who are looking for support, who are looking to talk to someone, and the amount of time and effort that you put in to organize these things is unbelievable. And I know when I was first diagnosed and I was looking for a support group, there wasn't one. And so so I went like 5 years, and I'm sure some of you have the same story. You wait a long time before you meet somebody who has one of these things. So due to these support group leaders, we're able to connect people and get them information, get them help, and get them on the right track. So and offer some support. And so it's really important work that they do, and we try to support that on our end through training and providing resources to them so that they can have the most up-to-date and accurate information for the people that are coming to the meetings.
Yep. So if anyone is interested in being a support group leader, talk to Jeremy while he's here. And then, so we also have a tool called the Myelitis Helpline. Some of you may have used it before. Based on our experience getting emails and phone calls throughout the years, we developed a tool that's meant to answer questions about symptoms, research, about the organization. So that's on our website. I would definitely check it out if you can. We also have an online community platform called Smart Patients. We know that Facebook is often used for people to communicate, but Smart Patients allows a venue just for that, for being able to talk to others with these conditions. So it's a really nice place to be able to chat with others. And then we also have our medical professional network. So you can go online and search by your state and find local medical professionals in your area, because we know how hard it is sometimes to find medical professionals who understand these conditions. We're very lucky that we have so many here today, but in many parts of the country that isn't the case. And so we also aim to educate. So we know how important, as I said, there's a lot of medical professionals who maybe don't know about these conditions. So being armed with the knowledge about, the disorder that you have is really important for advocating for your own health. So we aim to be a leading source of information. So we do this through things like the Symposium. So like you're here today. We also have a resource library online where you can find all of our previous videos from past symposia, as well as podcasts, newsletter articles, summarized research articles as well. And you can search you can sort based on the disorder, the type of resource, and the symptom that you're interested in. We also have our family camp. And so I just have an update from Rebecca since she isn't here. We had 33 families in 2018. And so the camp is a few days every summer where we bring families from all across the country and world. I don't know, some folks from camp are here today. And we also have medical professionals there as well. And so it's a really amazing opportunity to meet others, to talk with the medical professionals, and also to just have fun. There's horseback riding, swimming, all this stuff. And so we will be announcing the dates in December or January. So make sure you're signed up for emails from us if you're interested in that. And then we also have our monthly Ask the Expert podcast series. You may recognize my voice from some of those, but we do monthly podcasts on a variety of topics. And so it's a great opportunity for members of our communities to submit questions and have the experts answer them and have a conversation about different things. And then, of course, a big part of the TMA also is our goal is to accelerate and to do research. So we both conduct research and also fund research. And I'll talk a little bit about that. So last year, as many of you probably know, unfortunately, Sandy's wife, Pauline, passed away. And so we wanted to create something that honored her legacy and her commitment to our community. So we started the Pauline H. Siegel Eclipse Fund, which is meant to cover a lot of different research goals. And so you're going to hear about some of them later today. But our goal is to identify genes and causation, improve diagnoses. We also have the TMA Registry, which I'll talk a little bit about in a second. Looking at new therapies, and then also, of course, restoring function. So in 2017, we launched our TMA Registry. Thank you to anyone who's participated so far. It's basically just an online survey that you can take, and our goal is to use this to collaborate with researchers around the world to also identify participants for clinical trials. And so we're also partnering with UT Southwestern, which we'll have a little bit more information about for anyone who has TM or AFM who doesn't necessarily meet the CAPTURE study requirements. And then also just to give an update about CAPTURE, CAPTURE was our pediatric TM and AFM study that was done at multiple sites. And so that the traditional CAPTURE is now closed. There were 113 families that participated, 43 online and 70 in person. And so this is for anyone with any pediatric cases of TM or AFM within 6 months of diagnosis. And so now moving forward, there will be, that window is opening up. And so you'll learn a little bit more about that as we get more information. Okay. And then also a big part of what we do is fund clinical and research training for clinicians who are interested in these disorders. And so we've been funding these fellows since 2012. We have 4 currently in training, one who is almost at the end of her training, Dr. Wang. But you may have met some of these folks at camp or at prior symposia. And then again, our community, we have this is from actually our annual report, so it's a little lower than the current up-to-date numbers, but most of our membership are people diagnosed with these conditions, but we do have relatives or caregivers and then medical professionals. And most of our membership is in the US, but we do have a pretty big international population as well.
We have some people here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with some Canadian people, and Lou's here from the UK, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we believe that everyone has a role in improving the quality of life of people with these disorders. And so, you know, we would love for you to join us in whatever capacity you feel you have. So if you're interested in getting involved at all, in volunteering or anything, just talk to one of us and we'll be happy to chat with you about the different opportunities. And then this is some information, obviously, our website. You've all probably seen it if you're here today, but you can email us anytime at info@myelitis.org, and it'll go to all of us, and someone will respond soon. And then I'm now going to turn it over to Dr. Greenberg.
I also wanted to point out Peter's here too, right? So yeah, Peter is our newest support group leader for Florida. So sorry, Peter, I didn't see you hiding back there.
Nice job. So now I'm putting on my TMA board member hat for the next few minutes before we get to the next segment, and want to thank all of the staff who have Jeremy and Gigi and everybody who made today possible. We appreciate all the time and effort that went into organizing, arranging, and getting you all here together, so it's much appreciated. So Chitra sent me up here because she's the nice, polite one, and I'm not. And so what you just heard about in terms of all the different ways the TMA organization functions to try and support families and patients around the world, it really gets down to the notion of community, trying to create a home, create a community for people where there's a shared voice for advocacy, where everybody can be of assistance to each other and then to the greater community as a whole. And people in this room have donated their time, their efforts, their skills, their homes, their hearts, their minds to lots of people, and everybody is very appreciative of it. I get the tactless job of talking about the finances of things. And it's an important topic. When the Transverse Myelitis Association began around Sandy Siegel and Pauline's kitchen table in 1994, there was no discussion of budgets or finances. This has been an overwhelmingly volunteer organization and built itself upon that. As we grew as an organization, we brought on very talented, dedicated, and very small, nimble staff to try and accelerate and expand the impact we have. And we also tried to expand the funding for some really critical things. One of the first projects that we started funding was the Jim Lubin Fellowships. How many people here live more than 100 miles from whom they would consider an expert in the disease they have? Yeah. So when we asked that question 10 years ago, everybody's hand went up. It was 100%. And so one of the key issues that the foundation realized is we needed to get more interest among neurologists and others and rehabilitation specialists and physical therapists in these conditions and spread out around the country. And the Jim Lubin Fellowship was the way to do that. It turns out, as I'm hiring fellows to train, they all expect a paycheck. I can't figure it out. We keep asking them to live in a tent across from the hospital for the 2 years, but they say no. So the funding for training clinicians in this way doesn't come from hospitals. It doesn't come from the government. It comes from foundations. And the foundation, through the Lubin Fellowship, has been wildly successful at expanding the reach of clinicians around the country. And so it's just one example. The other example is around research, and we're going to talk this afternoon about some of the upcoming research, and Gigi mentioned the Eclipse Fund that was begun in Pauline's memory. It's worth turning our eyes forward to 2019, because we're almost there. And as you've heard, it's the 25th anniversary. The association has set its goals quite lofty. appropriately so, to try and break all records. The stated goal for 2019 and part of the 25th anniversary is to do a $2.5 million fundraise. And the number is not an arbitrary one. We have looked at all of the projects, whether they be educational, supportive, camps, and then all of the research proposals that we hear about on a regular basis but cannot fund because there aren't the funds. And that's the number we want to look to raise to really change the inflection point. So a couple pieces of good news before the bad news. So the good news is we have a lot of people dedicated through the work you do with fundraisers or networking that really connect us in ways to make this fundraising possible. For anyone who has seen the socks up front, anyone here seen the socks at the check-in? I am wearing my socks. I will model for
We're all
anybody
wearing
who
them.
wants.
Yep.
Those of you wearing your socks, go ahead
Yeah, I
and
can't
show
do
them off. We're going to edit that part of the video out. So these are referred to as care socks, and they come with a story attached to them. They were designed by Roberta, who you saw as one of the members of the team, and all of the money that is donated on behalf of acquiring a pair of care socks. You are not buying the socks. We are giving you the socks, and if you'd like to make a donation, we will gladly accept the $250 or $25,000 donation for these really nice socks. I mean, I feel $25,000 good right now in these socks. The point of the care socks is also to raise the level of community. It's a fun thing to put on Facebook, so you're going to have to put me on your Facebook page because I can't, or to put on Twitter, those types of things, to let those who you know, those who love you and care about you, your network, whether it be one friend on Facebook or 1,000 friends on Facebook, make them aware of what you are going through. Your power is in your personal stories. Your power to each other, to us, and to the community is in sharing those personal stories, raising the level of awareness. People do not care about transverse myelitis, acute flaccid myelitis, neuromyelitis optica, or ADEM. They can't say it or spell it. They care about you, your loved ones, your children, and as you share those stories, whether it be with friends, family, congressional representatives, senators, whomever, that's how we build a network and a community that will come to an event or write a check and support the goals. So over the year, as we try to raise the $2.5 million, we're going to be looking to you to help network, to help introduce us to people who may be able to help out in any way. There is no donation that is too small, nothing too small. To get things going, I get the honor of announcing that a charitable foundation known as the Madison Charitable Foundation announced today that they will be putting in a $250,000 challenge grant to the community. So if we're able to raise $250,000 by sometime over the next several months, they will match it up to $250,000. So basically it becomes a $500,000 award. It's a lot, and it goes a long way, and there'll be information up about it on the TMA website. Feel free to use it and share it with friends and families. It'll get us 20% of the way there right off the bat to a $2.5 million fundraise. These funds matter, they make a difference, and there are a lot of projects that we would love to do around the country that are just waiting for the support to do it. So you guys have a lot on your plate. I do not for 1 second presume to understand the day-to-day existence that families and loved ones have going through the challenges of these conditions. And so to stand up and then say, well, there's one more thing, raise some money, is a little obnoxious, which is why I'm doing it, not Chitra, because she gets to be the nice, polite one. But I have to stress, you are the only ones who will be advocating with a voice that'll change perception, hearts, and minds. And so if we don't do it as a community, I'm not sure who else is going to do it. And so we've grown from a very small organization to a much bigger one, which means we have a lot of opportunity to affect change in the world. We now want to get organized and resourced to be able to do that. So we appreciate everything you guys do day in and day out, but know there are opportunities that we'd love to involve you in. So with that in mind, anything you guys want to add?
We're good.
I believe we are actually on time. Shocking.
Yay.
We are going to transition to a panel discussion around symptom management.